everyone. My name is Erin Whalen. I am a math interventionist at St. Philip Neri Catholic School. It is a Notre Dame ACE Academy, and I work in partnership with Catapult Learning. This session is about number sense. Number sense can be taught. How to develop number sense in K-8 students. Again, my name is Erin Whalen. I am a math interventionist at St. Philip Neri School in collaboration with Catapult Learning. Today we will be covering number sense, how we can help our students develop number sense. The topics we will go over first: what is number sense, developing number sense in the classroom, number sense with math intervention, coaching teachers, resources for families, and then there will be time for questions, which of course won't be live, but there will still be an opportunity for you to ask questions, for me to answer them, and then to continue the conversation. And that can be on Twitter, Facebook, email, text. There are lots of ways that we can continue the conversation, you and me, and everyone who is watching this presentation is welcome to be part of a larger conversation. That's an overview of what we're going to look through. Most of the video I will be narrating instead of doing an actual video of myself, but you'll be able to see the presentation. There'll be lots of links, some pictures and other clips, video clips of games that work well for number sense. So let's go ahead and get started. Before I show you any games, again, as I mentioned, we'll talk about what is number sense. And these are just a few examples. There are lots of definitions, lots of ideas about number sense. In a nutshell, to me, number sense is the ability to be flexible with numbers, to manipulate to them, change them around, find patterns, just understanding how they work and relate to one another. So again, you see some of the things on here, being able to find patterns. That's very important. One specific example, if you had 22 plus 38, okay, you can take that 2 off the 22, stick it with a 38. Now you have 20 plus 40. So understanding that those are the same thing, that you don't have to do 2 plus 8 and then 3 plus 2. You can make it easier on yourself by doing 20 plus 40. Okay. Again, the ability to take numbers apart, which is sort of what we did with 22 and 38, rearrange them, put them back together, being able to visualize them. A lot of the card games I'll show you will be about visualization and being able to quickly tell how many objects you have in a set without having to count them. Understanding place value, that is also huge for number sense, and making comparisons and putting numbers in order, including fractions, mixed numbers, harder numbers, decimals and things, not negative numbers. Okay, the older they get, the more types of numbers they should be able to work with, but making comparisons and putting numbers in order are important at every age. The numbers just change and get more difficult as they get older, of course. So number sense is a foundational skill. It's important across the board in math. It will help students be successful in all of their math topics, but it is a building block, a foundation that students need before they can really be successful in other areas in math. So that is a quick synopsis of what number sense is. And now we're going to start getting into the games. I will be narrating more from here on out, and then I'll jump back on at the end for a little conclusion and opportunity for you to connect with me and with each other. So I hope you enjoy this and get a lot out of it. I've really had a lot of fun putting this video together for you. As we get ready to discuss developing number sense in the classroom setting, I want to let you know that I am going to try to go quickly just to cover as much as possible. Please feel free to pause at any time. If you're watching this with one or more colleagues, try out the games as we go through them and the activities. But again, I'm going to try to go quickly just so that I can get through as much as possible for you. I also will share my document that has all of these activities on it with sources and links, and you will have that available indefinitely. So just know that that is coming and will be included in the notes. First on the list, as we talk about classroom activities, are centers and small group activities. I have one for each grade level, and as I mentioned on the spreadsheet that you'll get a copy of, there are many, many more. So the one I would like to share for pre-K and K is using a water table and measuring cups. I'm sure that this is probably something a lot of you already do, but including measuring cups and just containers of all different sizes so they can see that a shorter, wider container might hold just as much as a taller, thinner container, and just manipulating those, pouring the water from one to the next, and including, again, a variety of containers, but some that have measurements on them so they can get exposed to those numbers and you can have discussions about those. Obviously, we aren't expecting them to be able to measure yet, but just getting exposed to those numbers and knowing what those might mean is helpful. For first and second grade, I would like to talk about Turnover 10. This is a game from the Investigations in Number, Data, and Space curriculum. This is a game where students are trying to find combinations of 10. Usually it will be with two numbers, but it could possibly be more. So they have a set of 40 number cards. They lay down 20 at first in 4 rows of 5. Whoever goes first turns over 2 cards, similar to a memory game. If those 2 cards equal exactly 10, they get to keep them. If they are less than 10, they can turn over another card and continue trying to get 10. If the numbers are more than 10, they have to flip them back over and leave them on the game board. So this helps them find combinations of 10 with 2, sometimes 3, maybe even 4 numbers if they're small numbers that they turn over each time. And there are copies of the number cards included in the spreadsheet, so you will have access to those. For third and fourth grade, I recommend Number of the Day. This is based on how many days you've been in school. So if it's day 89, the students write as many number sentences as they can with the number 89. They might do 1 plus 88, 2 plus 87, 3 plus 86, and so on. Some of them get very creative. They can do 1089 plus 89 minus 89. They can do whatever they want. There's lots of differentiation built in. This is also from the investigations curriculum, and this is something that can be used really at any grade level. Third and fourth is a great way to start, great grade level to start. And as they're younger or older, what they come up with is going to vary. Hopefully they are challenging themselves each day to get more creative and try different varieties that they can use to come up with the number of the day. Target 20 is a fantastic game. It uses every operation, any and all, addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Students use 4 dice. We usually play in a group of 4, but that's a flexible amount. Each person takes their turn rolling all 4 dice, and they are trying to use any combination of addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division to get as close to 20 as possible. If they end up with 22, then their score would be 2. Their score is the distance from 20, whether that's positive or negative. So 22 and 18 would both have a score of 2. 23 would have a score of 3. 14 would have a score of 6. And we play 10 rounds, and then the lowest score wins. The factor game and the product game are two strategy games where students are practicing understanding factors and multiples, how those are related, which numbers have the most factors, which numbers have the same multiples as other numbers. The product game, in my opinion, has a little bit more strategy to it. The factor game, once students have played it several times, they'll see a pattern or they'll find the best first move. But the product game keeps them on their toes no matter how many times they've played. These are from the Connected Mathematics Project, which is a 6th or 8th grade curriculum. And again, that link is on my spreadsheet. And I have copies of the game that you can see. I even have Jamboard copies that you can use to play the factor game and the product game. Both very simple. You need paper for the product game. You need paper clips, one per person, and colored pencils. Very simple, but very high thinking games, the factor game and the product game. Independent activities that students can play by themselves. I have 4 different solitaire games and the 24 game. The 24 game you see pictured, you can find that at 24game.com. That is another one where students use combinations of addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. They get a card that has 4 numbers on it. They have to use all 4 numbers to find a way to make 24. Every card can equal 24, so it takes some thinking. They are color-coded, or dot-coded, I should say, by their difficulty level, and students can play this individually or as a competitive game with a small group. The solitaire games, the traditional solitaire, I'm guessing you all know or can find. The other 3, I have video clips to show you. The clock solitaire, you arrange them in the shape of a clock. Matching solitaire, you have to match the suit or the color. And the pyramid, you place the cards in the shape of a pyramid and you make combinations of 13. Again, I have a video clip of each of those that are coming next. I hope you enjoy these solitaire games. Okay, this is clock solitaire. As you can see, I have it set up as a clock. So this is 12, 1, 2, 3, all the way around to 11 o'clock, and then I also have a pile in the middle. Each pile right now has 3 in it. I'm going to deal the last card to each stack. So 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. And my last card, I flip over. It's a 4, so I put that at 4 o'clock. I pull out the bottom card. I take it to 10 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and I continue on. If you get a king, you put that in the middle, and your goal is to get all 4 of 1 through 12 before you get all kings. Hard to do. Good visual, good understanding of time and a clock face, at least, even if not telling time, but understanding the clock face, knowing what 6 looks like visually, what 8 looks like visually, and so on. This is clock solitaire. This solitaire game is called matching solitaire. You almost only need one hand, especially if you're talented and you can flip the cards over from the back. I use 2 hands. But you're going to pull out the first 4 cards. So I'm pulling them from the back of the deck to the front. And then you look at the 2 cards on the outside. If they match either by number or by suit, you pull out the middle 2 cards. If they don't, I'm going to cover up the first card, pull another one. Okay. Now I have matching 5s on the outside, I leave those and I take out the 2 inside cards. I'm trying to eventually get rid of all the cards. I keep going until I have a match. Now I have diamonds. Take out the 2 in the middle, and then I go back so that I have 4 showing again. My outside 2 are both 5s. Take out the middles, go back again. I only have 3 cards, so I pull out another one. It doesn't match. Now I have diamonds. Take out the 2 cards in the middle. Aces on the outside. Take out the middle. And you keep going until you've gone through the whole deck and hopefully gotten rid of all the cards. Here I have 4 in a row. They're all hearts, so I get to take all 4 of them and put them down. And then I go back. Go back till I can see 4. The outside ones don't match, so I draw again. And now I don't have any more cards left, so I did not win the round. I still have quite a few cards left, but I developed some math skills along the way, and that didn't take long, so I probably have time to play again. This is Pyramid Solitaire. You're going to make a pyramid where you have 1 card at the top, 2 in the next row, 3, 4. I'm gonna run out of room. 5. And in the last row you have 6 cards. Now, I made mine a little compact so that you could see all of them. Yours, of course, can be a little more spread out. In this game, you're trying to make combinations of 13. And they have to be completely uncovered. I can take my queen and my ace. That would be 12 plus 1, that equals 13. Kings are 13 by themselves. I have a 10 and a 3. That makes 13. And when I don't have anything here, I flip over for my deck. I have a jack. That would need a 2, 11 plus 2. So I'm going to set that one down. An ace. I'm going to keep going until I get, I got a king. That's by itself. For the 4, I need a 9. For the 6, I need 7. For the 10, I need 3. Now, there's a 9 here, but it's not completely uncovered yet. So even though that matches 4, I can't take that yet. Okay, now I have a 9. I'm gonna take that with the 4. I also, at the top of my stack of the cards I've already flipped over, I have a 4. So that can go with my 9. Jack. 7, finally I have a 7. That goes with 6. Another 7. And the last 7. So I did not win this round because I did not clear the pyramid, but that is how you play Pyramid Solitaire. A few online tools that I use often in my math intervention program. Math Shelf, we just started using, but it's an awesome tool. It's for preschool and kindergarten students to develop number sense. We have seen a lot of success with it already and love it. Braining Camp is a website that has online manipulatives, and within each one, there are multiple ways that students can use those. They can make grids, they can measure angles, they can use pattern blocks, different types of pattern blocks. There are lots of things there as you explore Braining Camp. U Cubed is Joe Bowler's site, and it has a lot of her research, a lot of her activities. And Peter Liljedahl is a professor. He wrote Building Thinking Classrooms. His website also has tons of tools. All four of these I highly recommend. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on them because I have so many other things to cover, but please visit those sites. They all have fantastic tools for teaching math at every grade level. For daily routines, one of my favorites is What is the Question? And this can be used, as most of these daily routines can, for any grade level. For What is the Question, you just come up with an answer that has multiple questions that the students can ask. In the Catholic school, one of my favorites is 7. There's 7 sacraments, there's 7 works of mercy. So it doesn't have to be just number related. But of course, they can do 2 plus 5, 8 minus 1. They can get as creative or as simple as they need based on their level. And again, you just throw out any answer, and they have to come up with as many different questions as they can. Steve Waborny, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, so my apologies to Steve if I got that wrong. He has an amazing website that again is linked later, but his estimateries are all about estimation, and they are awesome. He's got, I don't remember exactly how many, but I know it's at least 50 different estimation. I think there might even be one for every day of the school year so far this year. And he's got a PowerPoint for each one, and they are really awesome. If you have any kids that need to work on estimation, those are great. I highly recommend them. WODB, which one doesn't belong? This again can be used with any grade level. You have 4 images or 4 number sentences, 4 of something, usually images, and the students have to discuss which one they think doesn't belong and why. And in any good math problem, there's more than one correct answer. There might not even be a correct answer. It could possibly be all of them. It depends on their explanation and their reasoning. So if you search on Twitter for the hashtag WODB, you'll find lots and lots of images. I also have a slideshow, Google Slides, with lots of images of which one doesn't belong. I will share that with you, and you are welcome to use those. Great routine for any grade level. Number talks are also fantastic. Joe Bowler has done a lot of work with number talks. I highly recommend her Mathematical Mindsets book. She discusses number talks and gives you strategies for how to use those. A lot of times we forget the discussion piece and how important that can be in helping students form the connections and make sense of what they're seeing. This is not something most students are not going to develop on their own, but through discussion, they can make those connections and have the number sense they need to succeed in classroom math and in daily life math. The next section is number sense and math intervention. And we just started our math intervention program this year. So I'm going to share with you a few of the things that we have done to identify students and to help them start building their number sense and other math skills. The first one is identifying students. For us, we use the NWEA benchmark, which we give 3 times a year in September, January, and May. And that has a section specifically on number sense. So I use that and their growth to mark which students might need a little extra help. We also use our state standards, of course. We're in Indiana, and Indiana has number sense standards for every grade level. So I look at those and I do some progress monitoring on my own to make sure that our students are growing in number sense. Again, number sense is foundational to many math concepts and to daily math, budgeting and cooking and all the ways we use math every day for our entire lives. So those are the two things that we have used for identifying students who need a little extra help. Activity resources for math intervention. I pull most of my materials from the Mindset Mathematics series by Joe Bowler, the Investigations in Number, Data, and Space curriculum, and the Connected Mathematics curriculum. I also use some online tools, which you'll see in just a second. I have a picture of these tools that you can see all of those books that I use. The Mindset Mathematics books are currently available. A lot of the investigations curriculum, some of that I had, a lot of that I have purchased on eBay. There's a picture of that here so you can see what those are. Those are the two best math curriculums I have ever used by far. I, again, highly recommend them. Tremendous activities, conceptual learning, flexible thinking, visualization of mathematics. I could go on and on and on. They are phenomenal. I highly, highly recommend them. A lot of the online tools you see here are the same ones that I listed for Number Sense in the Classroom. Two more of note are Mathmania and Tang Math. Mathmania has lots of videos of great games. If you find their game Zap, that is one of my students' all-time favorites. The original game is for addition. I use that with first, second, and sometimes third grade students. I also have an adapted version that I made myself that is multiplication. So I use that with fourth, fifth, sixth grade students. They love it. So those are from Mathmania. And Tang Math has lots of great resources, games, activities, another site for good. He's got lots of fluency activities, but they're not time test. I'm not a fan of time test. They're much deeper and a more organic understanding of fluency, or organic development of fluency, I should say. So you probably saw in the picture some of the Tang Math games. He has Kakuma, he has Namtanga, which are silly names that makes them fun to the kids. But in addition to the previous websites, add Mathmania and Tang Math to your list. They are fantastic. I am nearly at my time limit, so I will not go super in depth with coaching teachers or resources for families, but please feel free to contact me if that's something you're looking for ideas on. I have lots of resources available. One thing I do for my teachers is I write a monthly newsletter. Those are all on my website, erin-whalen.com. You are welcome to read those, share those. Please circulate them as needed. They are written specifically for our building, so some of that will not apply, but you are more than welcome to read and use those as you see fit. There are also plenty of good podcasts. PLCs, of course, are a good instructional coaching tool. Twitter has lots and lots of fabulous educators. You can search hashtag #NumberSense, math, of course. There are lots of resources available on Twitter. One thing we try to do is have watch parties every once in a while. We'll gather after school and watch PD together, have some snacks, and discuss those videos and things that we watch together. Peer observations are also great for teachers to share notes with each other. There's so much intelligence in each of our buildings that we need to let teachers have time to watch each other, learn from each other, grow together, and be a strong professional community for themselves and the students. Resources for families are also very important. Of course, we all know, most of us have always known, but the pandemic made it even more pronounced that we cannot educate our students by ourselves. We need the family support, and parents want to be helping. They want to be involved. They want to know what their students are working on. Family math nights are a great way to get families involved, bring them into the school, especially as the pandemic eases. We did a virtual family math night in the fall. I'm happy to share that with you. We're doing an in-person one in May, which will be one of our first in-person events since COVID began. But they're a great way to get the whole family involved, share fun math activities. Math doesn't have to be boring. Math shouldn't be boring. So let's share those great ideas with them. Share your newsletter with them. Show them the podcasts that your teachers are listening to. And of course, there's always plenty of YouTube videos and the online tools that I've shared previously that are great for the families to have access to as well. Parents want to help their children, so involve them, let them know what you're doing, what they can do at home. They will totally be on board. Hey everyone, before I get to my conclusion, I wanted to drop this slide in that the more I went through this and worked on it and developed it, I decided the easiest way to get you all of the links and resources I mentioned was to just put them all on one page on my website. Promise I'm not trying to promote my own website. It honestly doesn't have much on it yet, so it's kind of embarrassing to even share that with you. But I do have all of the resources and links that I've mentioned in this video on one page, aaron-whalen.com/NCEA 2022. I hope that will be helpful for you. I've got them all there in one place. My own resources, the resources I mentioned, it's all there. So please feel free to use that, share that, whatever you need. And I also want to apologize. I know in the last section about family resources, there was some background noise. I was at school 8 and the cleaners were working hard doing their thing. So I apologize for that background noise. And now on to my conclusion. And thank you for your time. All right. I know I just went through a ton of information really quickly. I hope that it wasn't too fast, that you were able to pause and take your time going through the video, and that you can, it's on demand so you can rewatch it. Please feel free to reach out with any questions. I'm happy to help in whatever way I can. You can email me. Twitter, you can find me at E_Whalen. I am also starting a podcast. It's still pretty new, but it's called Math Ministry and All Things Education. So feel free to check those out. And again, use the hashtag #NumberSense. Share your thoughts, ideas, questions, not just with me, but with all of us that are teaching math in our Catholic schools. Use hashtag NCEA 2022 and #NumberSense or #NumberSense chat. I am hoping to start a weekly #NumberSense chat on Twitter. That'll be Tuesday evenings at 8 p.m. Eastern. So once you've watched this video, please check that out on Tuesdays at 8 Eastern, #NumberSense chat on Twitter, and continue this conversation about the very important foundational skill of number sense. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your NCEA convention.